The 10 toughest fighters in UFC history, ranked. Stepping into the UFC Octagon takes a rare level of courage, but some fighters stand out as legends of toughness. Whether they held championship gold or simply refused to break under pressure, these warriors showcased heart, grit, and an unbreakable will to win. From all-time greats to relentless brawlers, here are the 10 toughest fighters in UFC history. Ranked. Number 10. Forrest Griffin. No list of the UFC's toughest fighters is complete without Forrest Griffin. He earned his UFC contract by surviving an all-out war with the late Stephan Bonnar in the Ultimate Fighter Season 1 finale. Griffin also defeated former champions like Tito Ortiz and Mauricio Shogun Rua, but his crowning moment came when he outlasted Quinton Rampage Jackson in a grueling 5-round battle to win the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship in 2008. Number 9. Dricus du Plessis. The reigning UFC middleweight champion is a perfect 7-0 in the Octagon, thanks to his incredible durability and relentless fighting style. Nicknamed Still Knox, du Plessis has taken down top contenders like Sean Strickland and Israel Adesanya. Whether he's knocking opponents out, locking in submissions, or grinding through 5-round wars, his mix of skill and endurance makes him one of the toughest fighters in the game today. Number 8. Brock Lesnar. Lesnar's UFC record may not look legendary on paper, but his sheer toughness is undeniable. The former WWE star bulldozed through legends like Randy Couture, Frank Mir, and Shane Carwin, all while battling undiagnosed diverticulitis, a serious digestive disease. Even while fighting at less than 100%, Lesnar dominated the heavyweight division, proving just how tough he really was. Number 7. Dan Henderson. With a legendary chin and a relentless fighting spirit, Dan Henderson competed at the highest level for nearly 2 decades. Hendo fought in multiple weight classes and challenged for UFC gold 3 times. His epic 2011 war against Mauricio Shogun Rua at UFC 139 earned him a place in the Hall of Fame. Even at 46 years old, Henderson was still taking on elite fighters, proving his toughness was second to none. Number 6. Max Holloway. With 30 UFC fights under his belt, Holloway has only been knocked out once. His elite cardio, high-volume striking, and fearless approach have made him one of the toughest fighters in UFC history. Holloway set a record by landing 445 strikes against Calvin Kattar and knocked out Justin Gaethje in the final seconds of their BMF title fight at UFC 300. No matter how deep into a fight, blessed is always dangerous. Number 5. Nate Diaz. Diaz's record might not be perfect, but his endurance and warrior mentality are legendary. He'll fight anyone, anytime, and his conditioning allows him to keep pushing forward no matter how much damage he takes. His toughness was on full display when he choked out Conor McGregor on short notice in 2016. In 27 UFC fights, Diaz has only been knocked out once, further proof that he's built different. Number 4. Georges St-Pierre. A 2-division UFC champion, GSP beat every opponent he ever faced, avenging his only 2 career losses. His elite takedown defense, endurance, and ability to absorb punishment made him nearly impossible to beat. Across 6 hours of fight time in the UFC, he was only ever knocked out once. Even after years away from the sport, St-Pierre returned to claim the middleweight title in 2017, cementing his legacy as one of the toughest ever. Number 3. Anderson Silva. Silva's elusiveness made him one of the hardest fighters to hit in his prime. But when opponents did land, the Spider simply shrugged it off. He defended his UFC middleweight championship 10 times, taking on all challengers. Even when past his prime, Silva continued facing top-level opponents like Daniel Cormier and Israel Adesanya. never backing down from a challenge. Number 2. Jon Jones. Love him or hate him, you can't question Jon Jones's toughness. With just one controversial disqualification loss in his career, Bones has dominated every fighter put in front of him. He survived brutal wars against Alexander Gustafsson and Dominic Reyes, always finding a way to win. Jones is as dangerous on the ground as he is on the feet, and has never even come close to being submitted. Number 1. Khabib Nurmagomedov. When it comes to mental and physical toughness, nobody matches Khabib. The undefeated UFC lightweight champion never lost a fight and barely even lost a round. His relentless grappling, unmatched endurance, and unbreakable will made him an unstoppable force. Whether it was mauling opponents or outlasting them in grueling battles, Khabib's dominance was a testament to his toughness. If he hadn't retired in 2020, he might still be the champion today.